Whether you're here to have fun or here to win, we've got you. And we've got your safety in mind, too. So if you need a break, and these days, who doesn't? Come add a new chapter to your memories. Grand Casino. Let your story begin.
Live from Southern California, this is the Jim Rome Show.
Most of the world, myself included, is smashing a croissant and chasing it with a nice big slice of humble pie today. And it tastes exactly like avocado ice cream. Because for all of the Tom Brady haters, this time the old man was supposed to get his, right? This time was supposed to be revenge time. This time he was going to get worked and exposed on the big stage. I mean, let's face it. He got over and he got lucky in Green Bay in the NFC Championship game. He imploded in the second half with those 3 picks. The defense bailed him out in that game. But there was no way that was going to happen this time. Kansas City was just too fast. They were too explosive. They were too dynamic to lose. This was the time where the guy was going to rip, the old guy, or the young gun, was going to rip the baton right out of the old man's hands, once and for all, and then beat him senseless with it. Instead, the old dude took the Lombardi and he cracked Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City over the head with it and knocked them the hell out, and it was impressive as hell. And about that trophy, at what point are we going to maybe consider changing the name of the trophy from the Lombardi to the Brady? Yeah, I know, hey-oh, kind of cheesy and all, and even sacrilegious. But the thing is, that trophy now is way more synonymous with Brady than it is with Lombardi. Brady has won it more times, way more times, than old Vincent. Hell, Brady alone has won that trophy more times than any other franchise in the league. And then one of the dumbest ideas ever was to put that alleged or supposed or reported in front of GOAT when it was used with Brady. Like, if you ever called him the alleged GOAT or the supposed GOAT, or ever thought that he was washed, it's time to own that and shake yourself. And I say that knowing that the phrase GOAT has been absolutely hammered into the ground. I mean, completely obliterated. Debating GOATs is the GOAT of horrible debates. Let me repeat that. Debating GOATs is the GOAT of horrible debates. And in football, that debate ended a long time ago, a very long time ago. Last night, Tom Brady put that thing so far out of reach, you can't even see it now. Maybe, just maybe, if Patrick Mahomes got over last night, and then we're talking 6 rings to 2, with Mahomes having won at the expense of Brady, maybe we could have that debate in about a decade, but not anymore. Not after what Brady did last night. Not after he put up a near-perfect game, throwing for 3 TDs and making the defending Super Bowl champs look like a collection of dopes. And yes, Brady did not, well, no, Brady didn't do it all by himself. Tampa Bay's defense was insane. Gronk looked like Gronk again. And I'll get to all that later on. But the show opener right now is about Tom Brady. Tom Brady is the GOAT. Brady is the GOAT. Dude is like the goatiest goat who ever goated. He's Goaty McGoaterson from the town of Goatville. Like, there is no debate. He is the GOAT football player. There's everybody who has ever put on a helmet and shoulder pads, and then above all these people is Tom Brady. Like, Joe Montana was the gold standard, and I always thought so. And I love Joe. I love Joe. Joe was the gold standard. But Brady has nearly doubled up Joe. Doubled him up. He's got Joe Montana's rings plus Troy Aikman's rings. Yeah, I mean, do you understand how utterly insane that is? Let me put it to you another way. He's got John Elway's rings plus Peyton Manning's rings plus Roger Staubach's rings plus Brett Favre's ring and Dan Marino's rings. And I'm not running Marino under the bus. I'm not doing that to take a shot at Dan. It's to prove that you can be an absolutely amazing player and still not win a ring. Just being great does not guarantee a ring. And yet this guy's got 7 and counting. That might be the most insane part of this whole thing, because only a dope would think that Brady does not have a shot at another. There's no reason to think that it ends with 7. Why not 8? Hell, why not 9? And here's another debate that does not exist, the so-called Tom Brady v. Bill Belichick debate. Thomas pretty much dug a shallow grave and ran that old curmudgeon right into it last night and started throwing on dirt. Now, that's not to say that the Hood is not the greatest NFL head coach of all time, because he is. When you have that many rings, you win that debate every single time. But when it comes to the debate over who was more responsible and who needed whom more, Tom Brady was winning another title last night, while Belichick was at home, rocking a sleeveless hoodie and muttering to himself. And as bad as last night was for Kansas City, and yes, I will get to the Chiefs in a minute, it was just as bad for Belichick. The guy that he didn't want to bring back just went to Florida and won a damn Super Bowl in his first year. And the other guy, the big lug, who left the entire sport to get away from Belichick, was back and played a major role in that win. Yes, I know that Brady went to a loaded roster and that the Bucs made it even better with the additions after he arrived. I know that he could not have gone to a better situation with a better coach, a better offensive staff, more weapons, and a legit offensive line. And yes, I know that he handpicked that situation. But he did that, and then he won with it, and he did it at age 43. Here's something else I know. Not only did Belichick really not try that hard to keep him, almost nobody other than Tampa Bay wanted this guy either. Fact. It was not like 20 teams were all lined up trying to bring him in, and Brady was analyzing all these opportunities before settling on Tampa Bay. There was maybe reportedly one other legitimate opportunity. So you've got to give credit to Tampa Bay for taking an enormous swing, pushing every freaking chip to the center, bringing this guy in, paying him big jack at 43, and then giving him pretty much whatever he needed to be successful. They took one of the biggest swings ever, and they crushed it in 1 year in a pandemic. And they were all in for this year, and it paid off. No, he didn't do it all by himself. And yes, the defense picked him up at times in this run. But the guy did just beat Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, and Patrick Mahomes in 3 straight games. And 2 of them were on the road. Not only did Brady not gravy train his way to this ring, he actually changed the team. No, he changed the entire organization. He completely changed the culture of the Buccaneers. How many guys can you say that about? How many players can you say that about? Now, I'm not saying their culture was all jacked up or that it was terrible, but it certainly was not that of a Super Bowl winner. And he made them that. And that's not me speculating. That's a fact. Ask anybody in that organization. As Bruce Arians said back in 2019,
this was a very, very talented football team last year, but we really didn't know how to win.
All right, so they did not know how to win. Enter Tom Brady. Suddenly they know how to win. He shows up in like the weirdest year ever, a weird offseason, and things start to change. To quote Arians, Brady's attitude, quote, permeated through our whole locker room, end quote. I mean, say what you want about this guy. You can call him a dork. You can call him a nerd. Man, my man is some unbelievable leader, an amazing leader with an incredible work ethic, and it is infectious. It is contagious, and it is organization changing. And if you want more, here's more from his coach.
And knowing that he'd been there and done it, our guys believed it, and it changed our entire football team.
So, yeah, maybe that stuff about him texting his teammates every day last week and telling them, quote, we will win. Maybe that stuff actually worked. Anybody else does that, and it's hack as hell. But if the guy with 6 rings does it, you believe him, especially when he goes out and he does it. And no, the other game we're not going to play today, we're not going to compare Tom Brady to LeBron James or Michael Jordan or Wayne Gretzky. It's asinine. Different sports. Just appreciate the greatness in whatever form it comes. We don't need to set up a bunch of bullcrap, contrived, artificial debates to try to make this thing even greater or hype it up. Just appreciate the fact that you're around to see this guy doing this stuff, because it'll never happen again. I know for a lot of you it's hard to hear that, and it's hard for you to appreciate Brady, because I get it. There's a lot to dislike here. Like, for instance, I know his social media presence is really weird and really creepy. And that he was so much better and so much more interesting when we knew nothing about him. And that the more you know about him, the less you like him. And that Tom Brady fans might be the most annoying people on the planet. But I'm not even saying that that stuff's not true. But you have to tip your cap. Not only am I tipping my cap, I'm all in. In fact, I'm all in with this guy now. I am buying those idiotic recovery pajamas. I am avoiding nightshades. I'm even thinking about buying into his moronic ideas about sunburns. Because whatever this guy's doing is working. It's working better than anything anyone has ever worked before. So whatever this guy's doing, I'm doing. Intermittent fasting, out the window. Same with low carb, slow carb, macros, plant-based, and anything else that anyone not named Tom Brady has ever recommended. Because whatever goofy thing this dude is doing, it works. Man, I'm all in. I'm all in on his whack beliefs about tomatoes and strawberries. Like I said yesterday in the pregame show, that you never pick against Tom Brady. That picking against Brady in the Super Bowl is like picking against Santa on Christmas. And then what did I do? I went with the Deke. I went out and I picked against him. So hear me now. I am never picking against that old dude ever again at anything. I just don't care. This guy can play till he's 50, and I still would be picking him to win, and I'll be sitting there smashing on avocado ice cream sundaes while I'm doing it. So, props, pops, I never, ever have seen anything like it or you. Big ups, big dude. And if there's part of you that thinks or hopes that maybe this guy was going to walk off on that, maybe ride off into the sunset on that, you know, like John Elway, you'd be dead wrong.
And there's more to come, right, Tom? There's more to come as far as football.
Yeah, we're coming back.
We're coming back.
You know that.
Coming back. Tom Brady's coming back.
Quote, we're coming back. You got to know that. Any credit card can offer cash back, but only Discover matches all the cash back that you earned at the end of your first year. It's like getting one of those birthday cards that's shaped like cash, so you already know there's cash inside before you open it up. But in this case, it's stuffed with your first year cash back match, and you don't even have to send a thank you note. How awesome is that? He is Charles Robinson. What's up, dude? Charles, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Everything we say Tom Brady can't do, he does.
Absolutely, and some. So let me ask you this. You've had a few hours to think about it, only a few hours to think about it, but right off the very top, what do you make of what you saw last night?
Todd Bowles should probably get another shot at a head coaching job. That was probably one of the better defensive performances I think I've ever seen from a coordinator in a Super Bowl. It actually reminds me of what Steve Spagnuolo did to that perfect 18-0 Patriots team back in 2007. For him to rebound the way that he did after, deciding to single cover Tyreek Hill earlier in the season, giving up 296 receiving yards, them really getting torched in that game. I think defensively, I think it's a negative that we call it the most valuable player award, because really in the Super Bowl, it's probably worthy to change it to most valuable person, because I think Todd Bowles probably wins that award last night if it's most valuable person and not most valuable player. So, Tom was definitely aided by a defense that was exquisite, but he also made no mistakes. I thought Kansas City, frankly, looked a little bit soft against the run. I thought the running backs for the Buccaneers beat them up a little bit. And I give props to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because what I ended up writing, like, hey, this is the first time we've seen a franchise do the whole all-in super team maneuver, and it pays off immediately. Like, year one, you actually pull it off. Like, the Broncos did it, took a few years with Peyton Manning. Washington failed with that whole Deion Sanders, Bruce Smith, Jeff George thing back in 2000. We watched, Philly try to do it with Chip Kelly in 2011. That was mediocre. This is the first time a franchise said, you know what, we're going to do everything. We're going to build around this guy. We're going to try to do this inside this tiny window, and it worked immediately.
Charles Robinson joining us. I could probably go any number of ways, 10 or 12 different ways coming out that response. And strangely enough, my big takeaway is the reference of Jeff George. Man, I miss that guy. How awesome was Jeff George? What a great dude, man. What a great personality. What an arm. That guy was tremendous, wasn't he?
He was